Don't take this video the wrong way. I love Splatoon. I think it's a great game. It's a lot of fun. But I do think there are some things that Nintendo should improve on if or when they ever make a sequel for Splatoon. So, yeah, this video is pretty self-explanatory and you probably already know where this is going. This is 7 things I want to see if or when a sequel to Splatoon is ever made. Yes, in online matches it's actually possible to get a tie in Splatoon. It's pretty hard to actually get one, but when it does happen, this happens. Here's a clip from another person's video.
Alright, Judd, there is 0 paint on this floor. Judd, there was no paint. What are you looking at? You just picked the... Look! Oh, I hate Judd. How can we trust his integrity in normal matches now? He literally just picks who he wants. This is Splatoon. The judge is biased.
So basically the game flips a coin and breaks the tie itself. And in all honesty, it's a pretty unfair way to break ties. I mean, just randomly deciding which team would win. Now, in games like Smash Bros, it has sudden death. You know, in online matches and even regular matches, regular offline matches, it has, sudden death. It breaks the tie. So if a player has an equal amount of lives left, they get to fight each other and see who dies first. And that's how a winner is chosen in a game like Smash Bros. Now, you see, that's a lot more fair than the game randomly deciding who wins and just pretty much being unfair. I mean, imagine if that's how, the World Cup or the Super Bowl would end. If the game ends in a tie, and then they just flip a coin, and whoever is heads or tails wins. And you see, that's pretty unfair, and people would be pissed if that happens because they want to see someone win, legitimately. And that's the same with people who play Splatoon. If 2 teams tie, then have something else to break the tie other than the game randomly deciding who wins. Or maybe, if you can't think of anything, have no one win when there's a tie. Because that would be a lot more fair than the game just randomly picking who wins and then the other team just getting screwed over because the game decided, we don't feel like having you win because, that's just not fair. Just flipping a coin, basically, and deciding who wins, it's just not a fair way to decide which team wins, is in my opinion. Nintendo, it's 2016 as I'm recording this video, and very few of your games actually utilize voice chat. And why is that? Okay, I know why. Nintendo likes to protect the kids and all, but Nintendo, why? It's not your job to monitor what kids do on your consoles or anything, or who they talk to. That's up to the parents. So if the parents don't feel like they want their kids talking to strangers on the internet or through a game or anything in a lobby or anything, then that's up to them. They should mute their mics and not let their own kids talk to strangers through a game. And yeah, that's pretty much the parents' job. So Nintendo, stop ruining everyone else's fun and just allow voice chat in Splatoon and pretty much a lot of your other games that have online, because it's 2016. This is pretty much a standard for a lot of video games that have online. So Nintendo, stop taking the role of the parents and actually let the real parents do their job. They'll make sure their kids aren't talking to anyone through a game or anything. And if the parents don't care and the child is by a very, very slim chance talking to a pedophile or something, that's on the parents and not you. If that kid ends up getting abducted and raped or something or killed, that's not on you, Nintendo. That's on the parents, because it's not the game's fault that the parents did a very, very terrible job at monitoring who they're speaking to online. So yeah. Anyways, if you're really serious, Nintendo, about the NX being more for the core gamers, then let all of your games have an online. Then let all of your games have a voice chat feature, because Again, Nintendo, it's 2016. Pretty much everyone else is doing it, and you should and you should allow your games to have that too, because you're pretty much ruining the teens and adults' fun by taking this away because you just want to look out for kids. Again, there's parental controls, Nintendo. You put it in your console for a reason. Once you put in parental controls, you should do no more than that. Anyways, that's enough about that. I've already talked about that a million other times in a million other videos. So anyways, next. Okay, I do know Splatoon's main focus is its online mode, and the story mode is kind of an afterthought, but it really, really does feel like it was an afterthought when Nintendo made it. Like, it's kind of like they sat in a room, and they all said, oh, we made this really, really fun game with online, we made this really, really fun online game, and it's really competitive, really fun, and I'm sure, consumers were really like this. And then one guy was like, you know what, this is missing something. You know what, let's show the people who don't have any internet some love. Let's throw together a story mode at last minute. And then the people in the room were probably like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. And they just threw together some lame story at last minute. I mean, I don't even remember much about the story. Something about agents and something about rescuing this old guy, and maybe I'm wrong about that. That's how memorable that story was. And I'm not saying like Splatoon needs like this big complex story, like a very long story, a very good and complex story and all that. It doesn't need that. I mean, you take control of a kid who can turn into a squid. I mean, I'm sure like that doesn't really need a big complex story or anything. But you know, I'm not even saying like make it have a memorable story, but at least make it longer, because those levels, those offline levels, like the levels for the story mode were actually pretty fun. They actually did put up a bit of a challenge, and they were really fun, and they were pretty well made levels actually. I'll give the story mode props for that. But once I made it to the final boss and beat it, I was like, what? That was it? I thought that would probably unlock more levels or something. But no, that was the end of the story. It only had like, I don't know, like 40 levels or something, and those levels were pretty quick. They weren't long they weren't long stages at all. But yeah, like Nintendo, if you ever do make a sequel to Splatoon, at least make the story a bit longer. You don't need to, again, you don't need to like give it this really complex, very good story or anything. I get it, it's Splatoon, it doesn't need that, but just make it a bit longer. I mean, I know the online is its main focus, but at least put some more time and effort into the story mode next time, because again, those levels were really fun, and don't really do much with those levels. I mean, of course, expand upon it in a sequel, but still keep those levels kind of like how they are, with the same obstacles and stuff, but, you know, of course, with more things. But you get what I mean. Like, just make it a bit longer, because it's what Splatoon needed, a longer story mode, because sometimes I got kind of bored of the online mode, and I wanted to try out some of the story. And then the story ended pretty quickly, and you know, I didn't really go back to it. Now all I do is play online mode until I get bored, and there's really nothing else to do with Splatoon other than that. So, anyways, next. Now you might be wondering, why the hell would an online match need a pause button? I mean, there's really no point. But while paused, you have the ability to quit and leave the match, and you don't have to wait until the match is over to leave it. I know the match is only 3 minutes, but sometimes people can get busy, and they might want to leave during the match, and after they get finished with whatever they're doing, they could get right back into the game, and they don't have to turn on their console, go through the menu over again, have to wait for the game to load up and all that. They could just go straight back into online matches in like 2 seconds. So isn't that pretty simple? Instead of having to turn off your console during a match and then going through all that again. I mean, I know first world problems, but still, it'll save a lot of time. And for those who can't control their anger, they could easily just leave a game during a match if they get too angry, or before they do something like
you, Nintendo. Fuck you for causing rage. Fuck you.
It'd be cool if Splatoon had a tournament mode, like kind of like what Smash Bros. And Mario Kart 8 has, and have it let you make it a turf war or a squad battle or anything like that, and have it let you name the tournament and so on, and make your own rules and stuff like Mario Kart 8 and Smash Bros has, and I think it'll be very fun, and have it where more than like 7 other people can join in. Don't have 8 as the limit. Make it a large number. It doesn't have to be 100 people or anything, but make it a large number of people that can be able to join, because I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun, and especially with like popular YouTubers, they can make their own tournaments and have their fans join in and have their fans play with other fans, and I'd really like that. I could play Splatoon with a bunch of my fans as opposed to like 3 or 4 other fans. It'll be a lot better than the private battles, but of course keep private battles, don't get rid of that, but it'll be a lot of fun, especially with like people with like an audience or maybe a large number of people in their friends list they just want to chill and play Splatoon with. Again, I'm sure a tournament would be a very good idea for Splatoon, because playing online with people around the world is a lot of fun in Splatoon, but I think it'd be a lot better to be able to play with a bunch of friends and not just a few other people in a private battle. Play with a bunch of friends and have your friends play with other people and stuff like that. It'll be a lot of fun, and I'm sure it'll be a good thing for Splatoon. And that is probably like one of the things I want to see the most in a sequel to Splatoon. Anyways, next. You might be wondering what I mean by other players. What I mean is having other people join in with you during online matches, and you might be saying, "Oh, people could already do that in Splatoon if they're in your friends list." That's not what I mean. I mean other people who are actually there with you, like in the same room as you, like local multiplayer, but they could join in with you. Maybe like three, if you have 3 other friends there, they could join in with you and have a team in an online match of Splatoon could only have up to 4 players, so have those 3 other people fill in the rest of your team. And you might be saying, "Oh, what about other players from if they want to join in but they can't?" Other players are just people who have no clue who you are, just players, just any players from or anywhere in the world. It's just some people who wanted to play Splatoon online mode for a little bit, but they can't join in because the room's already filled up with players who are playing with you. So that's why I thought of something like this, where Splatoon has a mode where it could connect to other people who also have other players with them, like actual people sitting there with them, like with a controller in their hands, not just people who are playing with their friends that through online or anything like that. Like a local multiplayer mode, but it could connect to other people who also have other players with them. So you could play with them. Maybe it could be a turf war or a squad battle or anything like that. But it could connect to anywhere around the world, to people who also have other players there with them. Isn't that a pretty good idea? So you won't have to disturb other online players. And they're gonna be unable to join on a room, and they're gonna have to wait a little while and stuff like that. I think that's a pretty good idea. So yeah. That's what I think Splatoon sequel should definitely have. I don't know about any of you, but I get pretty sick and tired of playing the same 2 stages on whatever online mode, on whatever mode on online on Splatoon I pick. I mean, it's the same 2 stages, and I believe it picks 2 different stages every single day. I believe you can correct me if I'm wrong there. I don't play a Splatoon every single day, but anyways, it does pick 2 stages for each mode in online, and I get pretty bored of playing the same 2 levels over and over again, and sometimes it makes you play the same stage over and over again, and like I said, it gets boring after a little bit, and it makes me want to turn off my Wii U and do something else, or maybe play a different game, because I get bored of the same 2 stages, and sometimes the same stage over and over again, because sometimes like 5 times in a row it makes you play the same stage, and I just get sick of it. So bottom line is, I'd like it if the sequel to Splatoon just doesn't pick two stages. You have to play in whatever mode you pick in online. But make it kind of like Mario Kart 8, where players can vote on whatever stage they want. That'll be a lot cool. That'll be a lot better because it'll have the players choose what they want to play instead of the game forcing them to play whatever stages it wants them to play. So yeah, that's another thing I'd like to see in the sequel to Splatoon very, very much. Next. Yeah, I know, I said 7 reasons in the beginning of this video, but you know what? Midway while making this video, I thought, you know what, there's one more thing I really, really want to see in a sequel to Splatoon, so here you go. I'd like to see a punishment for those people who don't do much during a game and just stand there probably by the spawn point and don't do much. I mean, for those of you who follow my Google Plus community, which I'll say it again, if you're a fan of mine and you really want updates on my channel and such, or just want to interact with me and other fans of mine and such, follow that community, please. But anyways, I shared a story, and I said that there were these 2 players actually in my team, and they hardly did anything. They just stood by the spawn point and hardly did much, and they didn't really spray ink anywhere. They did a little bit, but not a lot. But anyways, they hardly did anything. They just hung up at the spawn point most of the time because they just wanted to be safe, and they were too afraid. I guess they were too afraid to try to kill any other players or try to actually do anything. Which, if you are, why are you even playing the online mode in the first place? I mean, really, it makes absolutely no sense. But anyways, that's how it was. They hardly did anything. That's how it was. And yeah, and my team ended up losing by an embarrassing amount, and me and another teammate ended up, we're actually doing pretty good, but those 2 dragged my team down because they hardly did anything, and my team ended up losing because they decided to be lazy, I guess, or too afraid to actually do anything, and they did nothing. I mean, that's why I think it should be like Smash Bros. And punish them for being like that. Be like Smash Bros. And punish players like that, and teach them a lesson, and be like, hey, stop doing that. I mean, stop screwing over your team, and stop doing nothing and making them lose. And if they keep doing that, and they decide to just be annoying, or continue being like that, ban them. Permanently ban them. I have no problem with that. The less players like that, the better. So anyways, yeah. And it should probably also ban players that quit too much and stuff like that. It works for Smash Bros, so why wouldn't it work with Splatoon? I mean, to me, it's a pretty good idea. So, and this isn't to say punish them if they only did this once, punish them. No, I mean, if this happens every once in a while, once or twice every once in a while, then that's fine. Maybe something happened. Maybe they got caught up in something. I'm kind of guilty of doing that too. One time I got busy during a match in Splatoon, and since you can't exit out, I was just standing there doing nothing, and my team ended up losing because of me, but whatever. I got tied up with something for a few minutes, and then I went back and I just kept playing normally. I mean, if something occurs and, that's only once or twice every once in a blue moon, then that's perfectly fine, I understand. But if players do that constantly, and they purposely do absolutely nothing, then ban them. So yeah, anyways, that's how I think it should be. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, those were 8 reasons for what I'd like to see put in Splatoon 2, I guess, whatever they feel like calling it. And who knows, maybe some of these might actually make it into the real Splatoon sequel if one is made. So yeah, if any of these actually are in the Splatoon sequel, then yeah, I'd jump for joy and I'd be ecstatic to know that I predicted the future. So yeah, I hope you agreed with some, if not all, the reasons listed in this video. And before I go, I just want to say one more thing. Callie and Mari's names together makes calamari. Yeah, anyways, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.